Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this uh, Saturday, last Saturday of the month. Every last Saturday of the month, we have a talk on Polyvocal Research Lab. And today we have we're very blessed and very delighted to have Professor Florence Nweke from the Department of Music and Sound Production at the University of Lagos, Nigeria. She will be talking about the role of voice in music therapy for children with disabilities in Lagos. So thank you so much, Dr. Florence, for joining us. And I think we have a lot to learn from you about this topic. It's very important topic. Thank you so much. So you
Thank
have
you so much, Professor Gino. Thank you for having me here. Good evening, everyone. I'm sure it's morning in some other places. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone in Nigeria. I can see some of my students here. Good evening, Paul. Welcome. Ogala, good evening. You're not my students, but welcome. Good evening, Nasir. So good to be here this evening. I appreciate the fact that we want to hear what the role of voice is in music therapy for children with disabilities in Lagos. So let me just give a background of how we came about this. We had an experiment a few months ago, precisely last year, where we were opportuned to carry out a session with children living with disability in Lagos. And this was sponsored by the University of Lagos Center Research Committee grant. The Central Research Committee grant. So it enabled us to, reach these children. And that was a very unique one for us because most of the times we've been having sessions in class talking about how we can actually connect the gown with the town. And the gown is all that we do in the classroom. So reaching them in the town was an opportunity to meet these ones who have not had opportunity of coming to the gown, which is the university, to know what is happening. So we had to visit them to take music there, take art there. And that was when a lot of things came up. So when I was given an opportunity of talking on voice, I decided to say that let's see how we can, replicate what we had in that meeting at this program that we are having right now. So please join me as I take this study, the role of voice in music therapy for children with disabilities in Lagos. The voice, the human voice, is a natural loving instrument that originates within the body. It is produced by the vibration of the vocal cords. It is powered by our breath and is shaped by the resonating chambers of the throat, the mouth, and the nasal cavity. So it is inseparable from us. It is not only seen as sound, but it is a reflection of our biological and expressive tool that is capable of conveying our emotion, capable of giving meaning and identity to the people who are connected with it. The voice as an instrument started as far back as the Paleolithic era, that's the Old Stone Age, where humanity's earliest, connection with the voice as a tool. During that time, the motheress, which is like the mother giving a cue to the baby to calm the baby to sleep, was that initial connection of using voice, using sound to actually connect with human being. However, at that point, there were also a few musical instruments that also came up, but the voice was the universally accessible tool at the time. It allows participants, regardless of how they look, regardless of their physical ability, to connect effectively. It is an inclusive tool that make people who often, different people living with disability, to contribute to social and ritual life through their voices, through vocalization, through speaking, through chanting, through humming, through rhythmic calls. at the time, people who spoke about voice were people who have explored, who have also worked in the field of ethnomusicology, people who have worked in the field of sound, people who also have worked one way as archaeologists, and they discovered that the voice has emerged as a central role even before other complex instruments emerged. So we're saying that the voice has not only functioned as a musical instrument, but as a social equalizer, especially for people who are living with disability, enabling inclusion, enabling identity building for individuals who are living with disability. So studies in inclusive vocal pedagogy emphasize that the voice allows individuals with disabilities to participate fully in music making, enabling them to reflect or to show forth the skills that they have. A lot of them are endowed with different creative skills. So this also enables them to have social belonging. For instance, the people who have I said we met with, um, one way or the other, looking at them, you would think, can this person actually portray anything useful? But eventually, when we started with them, we see this show of confidence, creativity. They want to belong. They want to be in that space. They want to also join people who are coming from outside to show that they can express themselves. So vocal expression enhances self-esteem, interpersonal connection, emotional release, creating inclusive spaces where disabled and non-disabled performers collaborate meaningfully. Community-based initiatives, just such as the one we had and the one we have researched over time, demonstrate how voice, when it is combined with other technologies, also expand opportunities for people living with disabilities. It helps them to engage in performance and therapy. So modern scholarships in music therapy has also reflect how the voice enables adaptability and then fosters participation, self-expression, and social inclusion. And that is seen in all that I said we did when we carried out the study. So Nigerian research, however, is yet to give the voice a voice as a distinct therapeutic tool. And that was where our study came in. So in what ways does the vocal expression serve as a tool for accessibility, as a tool for therapy and social inclusion among these children who are living with disabilities? So the study investigates how voice function as an inclusive and therapeutic medium, situating vocal expression within Nigeria cultural traditions where singing embodies our identity. Singing makes us feel this, belonging, a sense of belonging and an emotional release. Although music therapy, which is the controlled use of music in the treatment of, in the rehabilitation of, or in the restoration of health in those clients or children suffering from physical, psychic, emotional, or mental problem, is yet to take its total toll in our nation, Nigeria. However, globally, it has improved communication and it has improved social inclusion. So despite the accessibility of voice, where voice is culturally central in Nigeria, and singing and chanting are our tool, accessible forms of performance, yet these people living with disability, a study is yet to be conducted to see how structured vocal activities or sing-along sessions will enable these ones to show forth their sense of belonging, to show forth that they identify with the society they found themselves, or to even show that they can feel and behave and access that tool of voice to voice out what is happening to them. So this study aimed at, or we explored how children with disabilities in Lagos use their voice as a tool. And we found out how children with disability took part in activities such as singing, chanting, and vocal exercises, and how this helped them join in despite physical limitations. And then we also saw how using the voice supported emotional well-being. help these children feel more confident, help them feel relaxed, and also have a joyful session within the classroom and the therapeutic sessions we had with them. It also enabled us to understand how group singing and shared vocal activities build social connections, encourage interactions with peers, and give children a stronger sense of belonging. So I decided to go deep into understanding what all of this is from the therapeutical and theoretical framework that is hinged on the humanities theory. And I find out that the humanities theory emphasizes the study of human culture, creativity, and meaning making through the disciplines such as music that we operated on. And it asks how humans express identity, values, and social belonging, irrespective of who they are, their physical appearance. So the humanities theory in this study looked at singing not just as sound, but as something that carries meaning about who we are, how we connect, and how we feel. The humanities perspective on singing comes from cultural theorists, ethnomusicologists, and philosophers who studied music as more than sound, but as a practice that embodies identity, belonging, and emotional meaning. And I connected this, looking at it from what I said we had, music, longing, and belonging, examined how musical practices articulate selfhood and community. These people I mentioned live in the world of their own. But when we took music to them, we saw the sense of belonging. They want to identify with us, the people who brought the music, and they want to feel connected, showing that singing fosters belonging while also expressing individuality. It also emphasized that singing and dancing were deeply embedded in human, social, and biological life, shaping identity and strengthening communities. The identity theory, the humanities theory I talked about also connects with this identity process theory, where this closely aligns with humanistic theory to explain how individuals construct and maintain identity through social and cultural practices, including singing. So humanities theories is saying singing shows how we are, who we are, connects us and calms us. The identity theory further explains that singing helps us build and protect our sense of self. So together they explain why children living with disabilities use their voice in song to express identity, to find belonging, and to achieve emotional relaxation, fitting squarely into the humanities framework. So there's a growing body of research or scholarship that shows that singing as identity and belonging find a place in structured singing. When you sing, especially in a structured setting. Like I mentioned earlier, I said, we are here to find out how structured singing actually enables these ones who are living with disability have a sense of worth, have a sense of social inclusion, have a sense of identity, have a sense of belonging. It's a structured session where we measured when we started, what did we do? What happened to this room? How were they before we introduced this session to them? Oh, they were scattered. They were all going their separate ways. They were not even perturbed about what we wanted to do until we started what we wanted to do with them. And when we started what we wanted to do with them, we saw how the connection begins to bond. We saw how they wanted to connect. We saw how they wanted to do things together. We saw how they wanted to promote themselves. We saw how they wanted to bring the values that is in them as a result of the song they were singing. So singing was shown to help participants feel part of a group and express social and cultural belonging. Well, it also highlighted how young children singing in early childhood setting is directly tied to their lives, it's tied to their identities and peer cultures, reinforcing the humanities view that singing embodies who we are. Singing and emotional realization also demonstrates that expressive arts programs such as the one we had foster engagement, foster belonging, and emotional well-being among students with disabilities. So voice in music therapy for children living with disability did not just start with us. It started far back. It started with scholars who have seen, who have used music one way or the other to show that music enhances cognitive development, emotional and social development, especially in children with disabilities. It is not an everyday thing. So when scholars find out this, it was really, really good. It was something that is worth investigating. So some other people have documented how voice work in music therapy help children with autism communicate and build identity, showing that the voice itself becomes a tool of belonging and self-expression. We had opportunity of seeing people with varied disabilities, ranging from physical challenge, autistic spectrum disorder, the people who are hearing impaired, the people who are short-sighted, the people who have partial sightedness, and all of these people together. But the voice, the song that emanates from what we got brought to them or we gave to them, became a tool of belonging and self-expression. So the humanities theory says singing embodies identity, belonging, and emotional relaxation. Children with disabilities use singing to express identity. The voice in Nigerian music for people who are living with disability also shows that identity and belonging is part of our culture. Traditional singing is what we do. It helps us feel children, it makes our children feel to be that, oh, they belong to this society. It makes them feel the culture, where they hail from. It makes them to feel a sense of belonging in the community. They are using their own voice. When children are gathered together and you begin to sing folk tunes to them, you see how they want to express themselves. You see how they want to showcase their voices. They want to tell you that they know how to sing this song, thereby showing that they identify with the community or with the society where they belong to. So in music therapy or group singing, it reinforces self-identity and inclusion. So voice allows children to express feelings. It helps them to show forth their skills, to show forth that they belong here, they love where they are, and they want to grow where they are. Despite their limitations, some cannot express themselves so well, but then this singing, when they start to sing, the demonstration, the movement that comes with it, show that they know what they are doing, and this form of expression, it is awesome. So it also enhances social participation, group singing. When social bond is broken, when social bond is weakened, people call back to their shell. So singing itself enhance social bond, and it make people to come together to do things together. It fosters cooperation. It fosters children, even children who lives with disability. It makes them want to prove that I want to be here, to participate and have a communal life. Bringing it down to what we do most of the times in music therapy using the node of Robbins theory. It proposes that musical interaction, including vocal expression, has therapeutic power, not because they are singing to only show forth self-belonging, connectedness, or social bonding. It also gives them the power to improve on their emotional state. It helps their communicative development. We have realized in the field of music therapy that when people who have speech impairment are trying to come back again, they start by allowing them to blah, 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 some nonsensical syllables in songs. Eventually, they begin to pick up their letters and they begin to express themselves vocally, and then they come up to you and they are doing fantastically well. So all of this connected together shows how musical interaction improves vocal expression. It helps to stimulate emotional and communicative development. Bringing that also, a lot of theory here, social cultural theory, explaining how social interaction supports learning and development. And that's looking back from where we're coming from, connecting it down, connecting it down. It's about social connection. It's about living a healthy life through social interaction, through expressing oneself irrespective of how you are, irrespective of who you are, irrespective of your physical appearance. So group singing helps children develop communication and social skills, and that is where the voice matters. That is where their voice is heard and their experiences are shared as a result of doing this. So voice allows children to express themselves. It gives them confidence. It helps them to achieve emotional growth. However, some of these people, like I said, we met them, they have different stages of their disabilities, which leads to vulnerability. So some of these people have barriers, and some barriers that actually can be is very evident that some of them, despite trying to voice out their opinion, they have these communication barriers. Speech impairment, for instance, somebody who hardly can talk, a lot of them cannot even blur the music that we do. But we see the joy that they want to just express and say it the way they can say it. Some of them cannot even hear, they have hearing loss, they have motor difficulties, they may not be able to move from the wheelchair where they are seated on, but they are expressing themselves one way or the other. You see them moving to it. It is still a voice saying that I want to be heard. I want you to talk to me. I want to talk back to you. So these communication barriers, however, is not what we base all of our own on. Our own is to see how we can reduce to the barest minimum the communication barrier that will make these ones not to voice or to air their views. Self-expression is also a barrier. Stigma, low confidence, or lack of supportive environment can discourage children from using their voice. When we got there initially, they were just withdrawn because they don't know us from anywhere. But eventually, when we started what we came with, they begin to loosen up. They feel that they are not the same thing with the people coming to them. But when we identify with them, we embrace them, they begin to loosen up. Self-expression, low confidence, they know that they are not like any other normal child. So people see them living with disability. So that can actually pose a kind of low self-esteem. But all of that was trashed as a result of participating in singing. Social participation too, I mean, excluding some of them, oh, because they cannot sing properly, it is possible for somebody to alienate them and say, oh, you do not belong to this group, you cannot sing, pick another form of instrument. But singing enables all of these people to come together. Just do it the way you can do it. So if they do not feel alone, if they do not feel that they are not part of that group, it is something that will affect them. Exclusion from choir, exclusion from group singing, due to inaccessible programs or negative attitude, will reduce the opportunities for self-belonging, will reduce opportunities for them coming together to hear their voice. But voice matters in Nigeria, because Nigerian musical instrument, I have said it, we are a communal people. We believe so much in our tradition. We are people who so much value what we have. We value our tradition. We are highly vocal. Integrating voice into what we do is something that we are proud of. So it allows the children who live with this thing to express their identity through familiar sounds, participate in communal singing. And you trust me, everything happening in the world of singing outside the domain of these people, they are attuned to it. They know what is happening outside, and immediately you put on a music that resonates with what they know, they come up, they want to sing, they want to express themselves, they want to, show forth this sense of belonging, expressing emotional realization, expressing themselves through rhythm and melody in whatever capacity that they know best. So understanding this reveals how voice is an accessible tool, is universally accessible, it does not require physical tools, making it ideal for children with disabilities. And my professor will always tell me that the voice is the only instrument you can carry with you anywhere, all over the world, that is not so expensive. I mean, sometimes you know what it means to go outside your comfort zone. You want to travel out, for instance, and you want to carry an instrument like the piano, let's even say the upright piano, you know what it will take, you know how much you will pay, but the voice is an accessible tool. Carry it anyway. Nobody asks you to pay a dime for that. It is your tool. It's a tool that is so accessible. It does not require any physical tool. It is so ideal for children of every children at all levels, be it people living with disabilities or people who do not have any form of disability. So group singing strengthens peer interaction and social integration, which is one of the ways the voice is heard. Voice also helps regulate emotions, reduce anxiety, and also help to promote well-being. And talking about well-being is one of the things that it's people who are living with disability may not be able to show you how well their being has been. But when you see them expressing themselves in the way they perform emotional outbursts, emotional reaction, you know that indeed the state of well-being is gradually taking good shape. So Nigerian folk traditions use singing for healing, and we use this for rehabilitation. We use it to confirm voices, cultural and therapeutic value that we have. Despite all of this, evidence supporting music therapy is just taking its toll in Nigerian studies, specifically on voice as a primary therapeutic tool. And that I must say a big thank you again to Professor Gino for inviting us to talk about this, because it is one way to show that the voice matters in all of this. And when we hear people say, lend your voice to this talk, let me hear your voice. What are you saying about this? They want your opinion. The opinion of these people living with disability in this space that we are matters a lot. We engage in action research, where we have practice-led action research. We are doing it alongside, and they're also learning, they are gaining, they're also experiencing all that we do. We started with sing-along sessions, we had vocal warmups, breathing exercises, and thematic songs that we actually looked out for. And it was at the Modupe Code around us. I do not know if this is going to sound, but this is just a bit of what we did, a bit of the activities that we had. These are the people we visited, and this is the singing session.
The grass is greener where you water the ground. That's what I found when I took the ride. I realized the mountain I've been climbing is nothing but you. I had no. Hi guys, me Jody. Let me see no.
Okay. So the activities included breathing exercises, vocal warm-ups, group singing, thematic song, combined art and singing sessions. We're able to analyze the findings using thematic analysis, and we focus on the emotional impact of our study, the social inclusion, accessibility, and then creativity. Our ethical approval was obtained from the University of Lagos Research Ethics Committee, and the caregiver consent was also secured before we proceeded on the study. Our findings reveals that group singing helped these children feel connected and part of the community. It also enhanced emotional improvement. Singing reduced stress, it increased happiness and promoted emotional release. Voice allowed these children to have access to whatever we do. It allowed participation even among children who are unable to use the musical instrument. Some cannot grab musical instruments, but you see some of them expressing themselves, smiling, and giving you that facial emotional expression that is beautiful, just to show that they also have access to what was done. We had our challenges, and the challenges included limited resources and need for repeated sessions. Yeah, we appreciate so much the University of Lagos for giving us that small grant to run this, and that goes a long way to show that they appreciate and they love what is happening, and they want these ones to also feel included in this community, in this space. And that was how everything went smoothly. They were able to support us. And we also have people who supported one way or the other in this study coming around to see what was happening. And that was an opportunity for us to, reach out to them. However, the resources for continuous going or continuous sessions with them is limited. The program revealed hidden talents, increased confidence. It also encouraged more engagement. So voice proved to be the most accessible and effective tool for therapy, for inclusion, and for emotional expression. Children showed increased participation, they showed confidence. I said initially we saw what was before we started the sessions, and we saw what came after we finished the sessions. It improved, it increased their sense of participation, their confidence, and the level of joy cannot be, it's undeniable. Participants frequently described a growing sense of belonging and connection to their peers by, they catalyzed on the music sessions, and we have some interview excerpts such as colleagues sing with me, they changed in the way they react, and people seeing them and dancing with them. It also illustrates how heart-based activities foster communal interaction and dissolve social barriers. Students expressed feeling part of the society and they feel among, suggesting a shift towards positive identity construction and peer integration. Those are the thematic analysis that we did, and these are the things that came out. They feel along, they want to belong to the part of the society, they want to grow, they want to also see and dance with some other people. We also use different musical genre, and we saw that these genre emerged as powerful medium for emotional expression and psychological upliftment. Participants also use descriptors like "I feel very happy," and it makes them feel cool to articulate the calming and joyful impact of the music. The anticipation surrounding weekly sessions also made them to look forward to singing, painting, or drumming, further revealing the therapeutic potential of consistent, low-intensity musical exposure. Despite the challenges, interviewees expressed strong enthusiasm and highlighted the potential for deeper impact. Repeated engagement will lead to boosted social interaction, discovery of hidden talents and gifts, and increased motivation to learn. I sing every time. Me, dance. I do what the teachers, I don't want the teachers to stop coming. That was what the reactions we had from them when we interviewed a few of them who could, verbally express themselves. These findings reveal that consistent artistic exposure may promote talent development, enhance social confidence, and foster long-term inclusion if appropriately supported. So our findings demonstrate that voice provided a direct and inclusive mode of participation for children who are unable to manipulate instruments or art tools. Singing promoted emotional release, it reduced stress, and it fostered joy. Group vocal activities strengthened peer interaction, affirmed identity, and encouraged creativity through rhythm, through tone, and melody. These results align with existing literature emphasizing the therapeutic role of voice work, the rehabilitative value of folk traditions, and the accessibility of singing in inclusive classrooms. So we're saying that the voice serves as a bridge to therapy, as a bridge to inclusion, and as a bridge to empowerment, as a bridge to calling on all stakeholders to come to their aid, as a bridge to getting to the people they ordinarily cannot have access to. Their song, their singing, their actions, the way they express themselves through their singing, we give them access to the art of those who could, who ordinarily may not want to come to their or look at their side to come to their aid. It enables children with disability to participate, to express themselves and develop socially and emotionally. So we are recommending that it is important to integrate vocal therapy into classrooms and therapy programs. It is also important to train facilitators in voice-based therapy. This is a way of sustaining the program and to ensure that, all of the voice talk, all of this, I want to sing, I want to that, there is a continuum so that it won't be a one-off thing, like we mentioned, although it requires so much, but the people who helped us alongside their teachers, we gave it to them as a kind of assignment that ensure that these children listen to songs, ensure that they sing together, ensure that they do that, before we left. And I know that one way or the other, it's a way of sustaining this vision. It also provides resources for inclusive programs. It is important that resources are provided. These things do not come cheap, but when an intentional way of getting across to these people is made, these resources will be provided to ensure that they have these opportunities. We also recommend that we use cultural relevant songs that resonates with them, since they know what is happening around. They might be confined in a home, but they know what is happening all around them. So we use culturally relevant songs that will make them feel among. We combine voice with other creative activities to also help them show a sense of, continuity and belonging. And then we want the program to be sustained. So we're calling that, let's sustain these programs so that it will serve and last for a long term rather than a short term. So the study concludes that voice is not merely a performance tool, but a bridge to inclusion, a bridge to therapy and empowerment. So from a music perception and cognitive perspective, vocal expression enhances emotional regulation, it supports identity formation, it fosters social bonding. So we are saying that the integration of structured vocal activities into these classrooms, Nigerian classrooms, especially the people living with disability, and into our therapy programs is important, as it will enhance communication, confidence, social participation among children living with disability, even among children who are not living with disability. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Professor Florence. I have to admit that I was very moved by your talk. This is a great presentation. And yeah, this is just fantastic. I don't know if I can put any words. I think that there's a bunch of questions coming from the people who are here, from friends and colleagues, scholars, and who've been listening to us, to you. And this is just fantastic. And before I open the mics, I would like to know if there are similar programs like this in the whole country, or have you seen any kind of experience like this in some countries in Africa or in Nigeria? Have you seen any? How does it go in the continent or in the country, first of all?
Okay, thank you very much for this, and thank everyone who has given me one thumb up or the other. Thank you. So, we at the University of Lagos, the Department of Music and Sound Production under the Faculty of Creative Arts, we have taken it upon ourselves to be a bridge, right? We have fantastic programs in our curriculum which enables us to, reach our community. And this is one of the ways we do this. So apart from visiting the children who live in this home, especially this living with this kind of challenge or disabilities. We have had opportunities of also visiting children who are vulnerable, who live in the slums, and children who are also having one form of terminal disease or the other. We have taken it upon ourselves to do it as an outreach. We have also met with people who are old people. So from my students and myself, we have done that. And I know that maybe a few colleagues too, who are into one program or the other, have also done that along the way. And then we also have a platform too. I mean, I'm a fellow of the Art in Health Medicine, that's Global Art in Health, where we also do use the art as a tool to reach people who have different forms of disability. And that is a plus. It is not just a Nigerian thing, it's a global one. It's all over, and it is working, I mean, expressively, it is working so well. And I know that there was also a platform where I belong, Sound Health Network in the US, where we also discuss things pertaining the use of arts to enhance all of this well-being and emotional improvement. So I am very sure that it is not just about here, it's just that it is still it's a budding area. It is coming up gradually in Nigeria, and we hope to expand. Like I mentioned, it was the University of Lagos that gave us this opportunity to have these resources to visit these ones. And on our own, we have done several outreach from our own pulse, where we will just bring out something to give to our groups as we reach them. You know, it doesn't really come cheap, but we have used our platform to just volunteer to do these things for these people who cannot pay our services. Yes.
Thank you so much. I think we have a question here from Dr. Nancy Fomicon.
Okay.
Can you open the mic, Nancy?
Is it okay?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Florence, for the speech. It's a pleasure for me to listen about music and the place of voice in therapy. I would like to know, if does the study show any negative impact of use voice? Maybe it can be something like that. Maybe I just want to know if everything is just good. Yeah, all the use of voice is always a positive aspect, or can we have a negative aspect of using voice? Just to know if the study show that part of things. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Past Nasies Famonk. Thank you. So anything that has a good side, definitely we have a bad side. You said we are dealing with children with varied disabilities. Some of them are cerebral palsy, and some of them autistic spectrum disorder. And you know that some of these people have their features, their characteristics of some of them. Exposing them to too much noise can be scary and can be something that can ignite a kind of negative emotion. So for some of them, when the voices, the songs were too loud, you see some of them trying to close their ears. That is a sign of those living with a kind of disorder, that they do not want noise, right? So at that point, you know that you are working with a structured session. So you just have to adjust it in a way that you do not scare these ones, since you are creating a kind of an inclusive space. except you want to disintegrate, or you want to share them into different sessions, and you want to saying that instead of mainstreaming them, you are creating a kind of division. You that have cerebral palsy, stay here. You that have a challenge here, stay here. So you just have to be mindful of the features of each of them with varied disabilities. Where singing does not work for this particular group, you can gently and quietly remove that person at that moment. Let the person just watch from afar, so that it will not make the person to be scared. Some of them too, they have social threats, like they are very scared to socialize. They do not want to belong to that group, and they want to stay on their own, or rather still walking around within the space where we're doing, instead of coming to join in the singing. You will not force them, because at that point they are not interested in singing. So you leave those at the moment who are not interested in singing to be in their own, perhaps enjoy from afar. You do not force them into the session. Of course, it's also part of the ethical procedures. Those who do not want to belong to that study, you don't force them or coerce them into any form of study. So it has a positive side. It also has a few negative side, because it's the first time, not the first time, they've been doing something that is not so structured. But when we came with the way we wanted to go about it, it was the first time they were so happy they wanted to join in. But a few of them will still want to close their ears when the song is going on. Perhaps the music is too loud for them, and we do not want to force them. We just separate those ones. Okay.
Thank you for your answer.
Thank you so much.
Emmanuel, maybe you have a question? Yeah.
Yes, I do have a question and comments as well. First of all, I want to say thank you, Gino, for organizing this, and thank you, Dr. Florence, for the beautiful speech. And it warms the heart, for us, especially those of us that are not in the academic circle, to know that researches like this still happen. And, and it's even be supported by the University of Lagos for that matter. So, thank you, Dr. Florence, for taking the time to look into these areas. These days, it just appears that, if you're not looking into all of these big issues of technology and AI, you're not doing so much. But this is the kind of work that really helps humanity further itself along. So thank you, Dr. Florence, for the research and for this. But a quick question that I have, though. I have two things. One is a question. The other one is a comment in reaction to Gino's comment. My number one question is, I know your research is just about the voice and the disabled people with disability, but was there like a control study that we could rely on to say if this music has the same effect on normal kids, for instance?
Okay, thank you so much. That's a serious question. Okay, so like I mentioned, that we have had the opportunity of reaching out to people living, the vulnerable children who are not living with any form of disabilities, just that they are socially not included in a kind of society, in a place like Lagos. So they are just in the slum. So their sense of worth is also not so palatable like the people who are in the normal space, who live in the urban spaces, and they are doing so fantastically well. So for those ones, we have had opportunity of seeing how music work on them emotionally and how they can respond to music positively. So coming to the space of those living with disability, and you see the way they also react to music, the difference is not clear. It's not so much. People react to music the same way a deaf and dumb will react. Somebody living with disability, that is the power of music. It bridges the divide. It doesn't segregate. It doesn't pick the audience. It doesn't pick that, oh, this is a class. This is a huge class. This is a lower class. It connects everybody. That's the social bond that comes with it. So particularly, we did not say, okay, we are consciously carrying out that before this particular study, but different studies different outreaches and studies we have had for people who are not in that disability space has showed us that music have the same effect it will have on the poor. It will also have the same effect on the rich. The same effect it has on people living with disability is also somehow the same effect it has on people who are ability wise, physically able, right? So it's not bias. I mean, there's no bias in music sharing its boundaries with anybody. So it works, it cut across.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. You know, I was asking this at the backdrop of, you know, I'm also a member of the African Music Library, and we do something kind of similar with students in Lagos, especially primary school students. We had one where we take them through just basically African music, teach them how to make African music. And one of the effects or impact that we watch out for is how this, you know, ability, this is not just singing or the use of vocal techniques alone, but also includes drumming and all the other parts of music. And one of the things that we have had to watch out for is the impact this has on the life of the kids. You know, how it goes on to influence their social well-being. And we've seen a lot of you know, the children who participate and do well in the musical classes also tend to improve in, you know, mathematics and other subjects. And so I mean, music is such a powerful tool, like you've said, and the voice itself, it's such a powerful instrument of music that does not even require. All it does require is just training. It doesn't require you to spend so much on it, and but then it can provide a varied array of positive emotions in people that listen. I mean. And it's a dying art. It's a dying art. The ability to use your vocal techniques to produce music with various emotional range, and which is why what Dr. Juno is doing with Polyvocal is also very commendable. Not just with Polyvocal, but with himself as well as a music producer who's just based on voice. So overall, I would say just thank you to all of you, both yourself and Dr. Juno, for putting this together.
Thank you so much, Manny. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Florence. Any question? I think that there's some people coming in now. Dr. Bien-Aimé Kessler from Haiti, Montreal. Who else is here? JJ Muriel. Any question? I have so many questions, but I don't want to hold the floor. That this is really, really, really brilliant. Yeah. Any question? Hello, nobody's answering. Paola. There are many scholars here. There are some students also, right? You told me that. So, okay. Thank you so much. And hope we get the chance to have you again soon, if you're free. I know you're very busy, you know, as a professor and also, you know, writing, giving a lot of talks around the world. And we're very fortunate. Believe me, I'm very happy to personally, I'm talking on behalf of all the members of this lab. And yeah, so very fortunate. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. We part of the African Music Library, you know, one of the founding members, and I'm very proud and lucky to be a board member, you know, and thank you so much, everybody here, and hope to see you soon. We have another talk next month. Oh, I think Emmanuel is asking a question. Yeah, you raise your hand. Yeah, sorry.
Yes,
thank you. Thank you so much. Sorry, and I want to thank Anu. I have not met her in person, but I think she said she knows me. Thank you so much, Anu. And thank you, Joseph, also, and Tommy, and some of my colleagues that we had these studies together, Dr. Ndubisi, Dr. Nweke is too. Thank you. And Aziz and Adedayo.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah. I had this question shortly after the other professor's talk.
Okay.
But I didn't want to occupy the question and answer session. But since there's no one else asking questions, I wanted to mention that what you observed with the negative impact of your work on the kids based on the noise profile of the environment. I mean, could that be said to be as a direct consequence of the music, or just because it's noise?
No, it's not really a direct consequence of the music. It's the state of the health or the physical disability the child is going through. For those living with autistic spectrum disorder, they are socially very, very disadvantaged because a lot of them are afraid to look up at people. They are always also bothered by light and sound. So if it is too much at that point, you may be affecting them negatively, thinking you want to help them improve. So it's just for you to be conscious of your environment and to know how to channel your tool properly so that instead of creating, you are destroying. And that is why music therapy will always tell you that you do not leave a child worse than you met them. If you cannot improve on them, just leave them the way they are, rather than making them to be less of what they were before you even attended to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just it.
So therefore, if hypothetically, if these kids were exposed to different noise profiles, maybe just people chatting or people shouting or arguing, they would have the same reaction to that as if, So what I'm trying to say here is to isolate that it wasn't because of the singing, it wasn't because of the music or the melody that caused that reaction from the kids, but just because the noise was too high.
Perhaps it could be because of the kind of music, especially when it is coming from a synthesizer or a soundproof instrument like the speaker. It could be too high for them. I mean, too loud rather. It could also be as a result of people doing the singing at the same time and it was too high for them. They may be in a normal setting where they just do chatting, talking, and everything. It may not have any negative effect on them. But this coming together, combined noise, the level at which they are singing and dancing, it may be. I mean, I noticed a few of them who were, responding somehow negatively to the singing simply because they feel that it was too loud. It's the nature, it's the feature, it's one of the characteristics of those people living with that kind of disability. Does that answer you?
Am I here? I think it has a problem with
Yeah, I think it's network.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Good evening.
I think it's coming back. Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll wait for the other person to finish. I just want to have a little bit of contribution.
Okay.
All right. Should I go ahead?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. Yes, I missed the bulk of what Prophet Doctor taught tonight because I didn't join on time, but I heard the later end of the presentation and it was wonderful. So I just want to add that for voice, the voice is such a very unique musical instrument, and I think this research, like she said, it shouldn't stop. We should approach it in such a way that it can be extended so that we can find more things which the voice really does to people. We know out of all the musical instruments, they are all external. Your drum, your guitar, your piano, but the voice is part of the human anatomy, and so it have that potential to communicate emotion in a deeper way that other instruments may not be able to transmit. So, I hope that we'll do more research in this ground, in this space, to find out what effect the human voice especially have on people. For example, we know that a woman that is pregnant, while the child is in the womb, the child begins to learn the voice of the mother. And when the child is finally born, it's that voice of the mother that the child is used to, that act as a guide and kind of provide emotional support when the child is scared. Sometimes when you want to carry a child, but the minute you hear the voice of the mother, the child calms down. So I believe the voice has this innate calming ability, yes, naturally, that God has put in the normal human voice. So I think more of this research is needed. The voice is such. I'm a singer, that's why I'm sounding this way. And I know that in Africa, we talk about lullaby, mother singing lullaby, what the effect the lullaby has on the child. So there's so much that has not been discovered yet, in my opinion, about the human voice that will really be of benefit in this space. So my contribution is that I hope and I pray that we don't stop this research. We continue more on and find more of what the voice can do in the space of therapy, in the space of emotional support, in space of people that are living with disability. Maybe if we can find the profile of the kind of voice that suits them, that can help them to calm down. Maybe a voice that they are used to from when they are when they were young, and now they are growing. We can use that kind of voice to sing to them. I don't know. I just want to communicate my thought loud. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much, Adebayo. Thank you.
It's really interesting. Yeah. So hopefully next time you'll be here with us, right?
Yeah, definitely, sir. Yes, definitely, sir.
Yes, we have a bunch of topics, related to the voice, the human voice anyway, spoken and sound voice. So what you're saying is really, really interesting. So I hope we get a chance to develop, to talk more about it and in the future, in the short future, because I think we're running a little bit late right here in Nigeria.
Okay.
Right there in Nigeria, it's like 10, right?
Yeah, after
Yeah.
10.
Yeah. So I don't want to
Yes.
call you back, like for like 20 hours. But in the meantime, it's very, very, very interesting. Thank you so much, Editora, for this wonderful contribution. And thank you so much,
Thank you,
Professor
sir.
Florence. Thanks a lot. And really, I wasn't expecting, the way you presented, I've learned a lot. Like everybody here, I guess,
Thanks.
anyway. So it's really, really interesting, especially we all uh, dealing with the same topics, in general, but this way, I was very moved, especially because it's really, it's related to disabilities, it's really powerful. It's really, really interesting. Sometimes we kind of forget about those people, those kids, we think about music as just a performance to have fun, but it gives a meaning to the human being that all of us, that to any human being anyway. So that's why one of the reasons why I was very moved, and also the fact that you mentioned Vygotsky, that's one of my favorite researchers, and the way the social cultural way he used, interaction, combining the social background of each student or each person, and to make something powerful, to heal them and to make them feel in a better shape at the meantime, because it's not physically, but I think it has something to do with the emotion, with the cognition. And, this is really, really interesting. I was very, personally, I really think on behalf of the whole team here at Polyvocal Research Lab, and hopefully we have you back for another topic if you have a second for us. And I would also like to thank Anu, who introduced us.
Thank you.
So she's not, I think she's busy tonight. She
Okay.
wasn't able to attend. And thank you, everybody here. And yeah, don't forget to sign up the mailing list research at polyvocal.com and to be on the mailing list, so to follow up anyway. So next month we can have a great scholar from Martinique, a young lady called Aurélie Boutin on the 28th of March. And then I think we will have another person from Ghana, another Professor Benjamin Amakie Boateng. I'm hoping I think that if he hears me, he's going to confirm on the 25th of April. So, yeah. So, if there's no question, we just wrap up. And yeah, anybody here ready to say something, or just to say hello, goodbye, or good night?
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Good night. Thanks.
Thank you, Nefemi. Thank you, Baba.
Thanks, Dad.
Bye bye.